All right, another big story that we are tracking at this hour is the ongoing Bangladesh crisis. Now, the Chief Justice of Bangladesh, he has quit after the students' protest. Now, Chief Justice Ubaidul Hassan, he has quit following the protest by the students there. A full court meeting was called by the Chief Justice that had been called off. The Chief Justice had called the meeting without consulting the interim government, is what we are learning at this point. The student protesters, they say and they allege that the judges are in fact part of a bigger conspiracy and a larger conspiracy. Remember Ubaidul Hassan, who was appointed to helm the Supreme Court last year. He is in fact seen as a loyalist to the now ousted Premier Sheikh Hasina. The Chief Justice of Bangladesh has in fact now decided to step down. He has in fact stepped down from his post after calls for his resignation grew on Saturday. And Vishnu Shom joins us live to get us more on this. Vishnu, first of all, I mean, there was a sense of calm for a brief period of time. But from now, what we are learning is that the Chief Justice has resigned. What does it mean for Bangladesh at the moment, and what were the problem that the students had from the Chief Justice, and what were the exact demands?
Well, the breaking news at this stage is that the Chief Justice of Bangladesh has resigned. This is after intense protests by protesters led by student groups outside the High Court building in Dhaka. Now, the High Court building houses both the High Court and the Supreme Court of Bangladesh. And the person who has resigned at this stage is the Chief Justice of Bangladesh, who has quit. Now, he has been in the custody of the army in a safe house. I shouldn't use the word custody since he's free to do what he wants, but he's been under the protective sort of presence of the Bangladesh army for the last couple of days. And while he was doing that in a safe house, he decided to get onto a Zoom conversation with other judges of the Supreme Court. That's what we are told. And this was seen as an attempt at trying to build a conspiracy. So within hours, there was a mobilization of hundreds of protesters linked to the BNP, that's the main opposition party, student protesters thrown in over there. They went and thronged the High Court building, and you can see images of that on your screen right now. And they gave the Chief Justice 1 hour to step down and 1 hour to resign, which is what he's done at this stage. The Supreme Court of Bangladesh and judges of the Bangladesh find themselves squarely in the crosshairs of the anger of protesters. Why? Because it was a quota for the descendants of those who had fought in the Liberation War in 1971 in jobs that the Supreme Court of Bangladesh had actually given a go-ahead to, which is what triggered the protests by students in the first place, who said that how is it that there is a 30% reservation in jobs, in government jobs, at a time when there is so much unemployment. And so that resulted and cascaded and snowballed into all of these protests, which resulted in Sheikh Hasina, the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, fleeing her country, etc., etc. But there is a purge which is taking place in Bangladesh. From what we know, it's not violent in that sense, but the Chief Justice has resigned, senior police officials have resigned, senior members of the administration are being replaced. Many of these individuals are being kept safe in safe houses presently, given the anger on the ground. And of course, Sheikh Hasina's own party and political leaders over there have also been taken into custody. At the moment, their lives are safe. There isn't something to indicate that this is all going in that direction. But it's all part of a huge purge taking place in Bangladesh as this new interim government, shapes up and starts getting down to business. The latest victim of this purge is the Chief Justice.
All right, Vishnu Shom, thank you very much for putting everything in perspective. So as Vishnu was mentioning, the Chief Justice of Bangladesh, he has quit after calls for protest from the student bodies along with other protesters there. And breaking news coming in at this point, Vinesh Phogat's decision is now going to come by 9:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. The IOC, Vinesh versus the United World Wrestling decision is on Phogat's silver medal. Remember, Vinesh Phogat, who had a tremendous campaign at the Paris Olympics, where she went on to beat the world champion as well as the defending Olympic champion in her first round followed it up with the European champion, defeating the European champion Oksana Livac, and then defeating the Pan American champion Guzman in that semi-final bout. She had reached the final, first for any Indian woman wrestler to have reached the final of a wrestling event in at the Olympics. And for now, what we are learning at the moment is the time for tribunal's decision has been extended. Vinesh Phogat's appeal, the time for that tribunal's decision has been extended. That decision is likely to come by 9:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time today. It was a heartbreak for the Indian champion Vinesh Phogat after she was disqualified for weighing just over 100 grams before the weigh-in on the day of her final bout. Remember, the Court of Arbitration for Sports was hearing the Indian wrestler Vinesh Phogat's plea against her disqualification at the Paris Olympics. In her appeal, Vinesh Phogat, she had requested for a joint silver as she was found 100 grams overweight after she won the semi-final bout against Guzman at Paris. Now, in a major development in that particular case, Vinesh Phogat's court hearing the case has been concluded and the decision is likely to be announced today at 9:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. And Rika joins us live from Paris to get us more on this. Rika, what are the latest updates? What more can you tell us?
Well, this is a press release that we have got from the tribunal that the decision will be announced on or before 6 p.m. Paris time or 9:30 p.m. India time today. The case was heard at a tribunal, CAS tribunal yesterday. And I can tell you that 4 French lawyers appeared for Vinesh Phogat. And these lawyers were appearing pro bono for the athlete. And there were, of course, friends of the court, Harish Salve and Vidushpat Singhania representing the Indian Olympic Association. They're also a party to this case. They argued that Vinesh Phogat, she had not done anything intentionally. There was no malicious intent. She had tried everything in her books to manage the weight. The weight could not be managed, and hence she was disqualified. And the disqualification in itself is not right. She should have been allowed to fight. Most of the appeal was made on emotional grounds that she tried everything in her books to manage her weight, but was unable to do so. Hence, she should be awarded a joint silver.
Absolutely, Rika. And in fact, the Indian Olympic Association, it has also remained very hopeful of a positive resolution for the wrestlers' application before that ad hoc division of the Court of Arbitration for Sports. What can the IOA expect from the court, and what can be the positive likelihood from this particular hearing that you're mentioning right now?
Osama, there are it's a clear-cut case of a positive or a negative decision. Positive decision has to be awarding a silver medal to Vinesh Phogat. Negative decision would be no medal for her. But, the case is led. There have been heavy lobbying for Vinesh Phogat by, various agencies, even private players getting involved in this. And getting in someone as a heavyweight, a lawyer, as Harish Salve to appear for Indian Olympic Association. There have been private funders who've been backing IOA to win this case for Vinesh Phogat. It is a lot of prestige of India at stake. Remember, we stand at 6 medals right now. If this happens, if a silver comes our way, then it will be the 7th medal for India. The hopes, I would say, are very slim, because we were speaking to the head of UWW yesterday, and he said that if the court, asks us to grant the silver. In no event, there are two medals, basically.
Right.
So if the
Right.
court then grant the silver, it'll be exceptional. Then IOC has to look into it. B, it would also be a case of UWW having to change competition rules. Competition rules are never
Absolutely.
changed while competition is on. So whatever changes, Osama, happens in the competition rules, if the court suggests, will happen after the Olympic Games. It'll be for the next 4 years cycle. It cannot happen in the middle of a competition.
Absolutely.
But,
In
if
fact,
this happens,
what the Indian Olympic Association also said, that it was in fact its duty to back Vinesh, and that is what they have done. That decision is expected by 9:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and this is for Phogat's silver medal.